and welcome to the kitchen. We're in Dallas in my kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how for St. Patrick's Day to make an Irish soda bread. I am going to be making a traditional Irish soda bread, can't seem to get that word out, and I will tell you it's not all that tasty, but it is fun to make and serve, especially if you go to like a potluck or you're having some kind of St. Patrick's Day celebration. So you might want to serve it with some butter or maybe a stew or, you know, as a side. So, and I'm going to color mine green just for fun for St. Patrick's. So let's get started. The ingredients you will need are very simple. You'll need buttermilk, you'll need flour, salt, baking soda, and since I'm coloring mine green, some green food coloring. And that's all you need to make this bread. The equipment that you'll need to make the soda bread, you'll need a large mixing bowl, you'll need a measuring cup, a 1 cup measuring cup, you'll need measuring spoons, you'll need a spoon for stirring. I prefer wooden. I'm going to knead my dough on this. I'm going to cover it in flour and knead it. You can do it on the counter or whatever. This just is easier cleanup for me. You'll need a round cake pan, and then you'll need another, I'm using a pie tin, but for the first part while you cook it with another pan on the top. So the pie pan fits well for me, but you can do, if you have 2 cake pans, you can just use 2 cake pans also. So that's what you'll need, and let's get started making this bread. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cake pan and I'm going to grease and flour it. So I've just got some spray. You can use whatever you like, butter, spray, oil. So I'm just going to lightly spray it all over the kitchen. And then I'm going to take some flour and just lightly coat it. I'm doing it over the surface that I'll be working on so that I don't get flour all over the kitchen. You can do it over the kitchen sink. Then just tap it out. You don't want too much. And it is ready to go. So I will set that over to the side. Now let's get started on the bread part. I've measured 4 cups of all-purpose flour. You don't have to use bread flour, just use all-purpose. And I've put it in my bowl. So there's 4 cups in there. And I'm just going to stir it around just to get any of the big lumps out. And then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And just sprinkle it in there. And 1 teaspoon of salt. Level, now we're in there, throw a little over my shoulders, and I'm just going to mix that in there. And then, since I want my bread to be green, to my 14 ounces of buttermilk, I'm going to add some green drops here. Doesn't want to come out. So just add till you think it looks green enough to make your bread the desired green. Remember, it'll be a lot lighter than what it looks like. Okay, my buttermilk is now the color. It's a nice darker green, which means my bread will be a light green. I added about probably 60 drops. So once you've got this all stirred in, you'll add it to your bread. And make sure that you have preheated your oven to 425 degrees so it can start warming for you to put the bread in. So now I'm going to add the buttermilk slowly to my bread until it is a nice sticky consistency as I fling it across the kitchen. And you may just want to go ahead and start kneading it together because that may be easier to combine the liquid with the bread. With the flour, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my rings. And just kind of mix it with my hands to get all the flour and the buttermilk incorporated. It is nice and sticky. It's sticking all to my hands. And if yours seems a little bit dry, you can add just a little bit more buttermilk. All incorporated. And then we are going to flip it out onto our floured surface and just lightly knead it and shape it. So get your surface floured. Mine is floured from, I'll add just a little bit more flour here. I'm going to put my dough out onto my floured surface. Okay, here's my dough. Just move my bowl out of the way here. And you're just going to lightly knead it on your floured surface, just very lightly. You don't want the gas bubbles to escape. So we're just going to lightly knead it. And then we're going to shape it into a round like your pan is. It doesn't have to be pretty, it puffs while you bake it. So there's my round. I'm going to take my pan and put it in there and just kind of flatten it out to the pan. And then I did forget to tell you, you will need a knife. Like a steak knife or a cutting knife. And make a pretty deep, I'd say about halfway down, make a cross cut into the bread. And it will look like this, and it will puff up, and you'll see what it looks like. So now let's get this in the oven. Put your top, whatever you've chosen as a top, on top, and we'll cook it for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, we'll take the cover off and let it cook for 15 more minutes uncovered. So let me get this in the oven. My bread has now been in the oven for 30 minutes. So I'm going to take it out, take off the top. You'll see it's poofed. You can see the cross in it. and I'm going to put it back in the oven for 15 more minutes. My green Irish soda bread is now finished baking. So I'm going to take it out of the oven here and put it on a cooling rack. And the way that you know that it's done is when you knock on the bottom, it sounds hollow. I don't think you can really catch that on there. So there is my bread, all ready for St. Patrick's Day. And it smells delicious. It may not taste all that tasty, but it smells delicious. So serve it hot with some butter or let it cool, and serve it with sandwiches or with a stew, anything like that. You can always reheat it also. So there you go.